In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how this junk removal business went from $5,000 a month to $35,000 a month. I'm going to show you exactly what went into getting this client to start ranking on the first page of Google for junk removal searches near him in his local service area. Now, as you may already know, being on Google is going to be one of the most important things you can do for your business, as this is where most of your customers are looking for you. I'm going to show you the 7 most important steps we followed to get this customer from not being visible at all online to showing up on the first page of Google for junk removal searches near him. So let's get into this list. Number 1 on the list is going to be the name of your business. Now I know this sounds super simple, but a lot of people get this part wrong. What I want you to think about is the number 1 thing most people are searching for, and then how Google will show you a business that is related to that. For this example, I'm going to share with you the most sought after search phrase in any city, and it's actually just junk removal and then the name of the city. So whatever city you're in, just plug in the words junk removal before it, and voila, you have the main search phrase in your area, okay? Now, what a lot of people try and do is they try and give their name a business that is really clever, that might include the words junk hauling or trash something. Really, we're not trying to rank for the words trash. We're not trying to rank for the words hauling. We are trying to rank for the search phrase junk removal. So it's really important that you have the words junk removal in the name of your business, because it will give you leverage with Google because you're including keywords in the name of the business. Now what happens with this is a lot of people try and get extra creative with it, and they just try and name their business junk removal and then the city name. Now you can do this, but you're kind of playing with fire, because unless you have a DBA or a business license that shows this exact business name, chances are you're going to be fighting with Google constantly because they think your name is spam and that is not your legal business name. Now I've had situations where people actually do have proof their business is actually registered that way, and they were able to obtain a domain with that name, and they're just constantly fighting Google because they're getting shut down and then having to send in paperwork and waiting for the appeal process. So it's really up to you whether you want to do something like that, but it does give you leverage when you're trying to rank for a certain search phrase. Number 2 on the list is going to be the address that you chose to register the business with. Now I know a lot of you, when you're starting this business, will just use your home address to register with Google. Now the problem with this is that you are expecting to rank somewhere in the middle of some city that most of your work is coming from, but you're way in the outskirts. Google My Business, the way it works is number 1 is going to be based off proximity. How close are you to that business, right? So if you were to type in tacos near me, it's going to show you the closest place that sells tacos, not a place that's an hour away, because chances are between you and that hour away, there's a lot of other businesses that also sell the same thing. So you want to take that into consideration when setting up your Google My Business profile. What address are you going to use? And what I'll say here is the main city you live in is going to be the most important place you want to acquire an address from, okay? I'm going to show you on a map what I mean. So I live somewhere out here in Oregon called Oregon City, and it's all the way over here, okay? This right here is the main city in my area, and it's Portland. Now, I'm probably like 30 miles away from Portland, and if I was trying to rank for the search phrase junk removal Portland with my Google My Business being registered all the way over here, it would never show up, because between me and Portland there are so many other businesses. Now there, as a workaround, right, I could acquire an address in Portland now. Now not every address is going to be equally as great. There's going to be a rule here. So if you type in the name of your city, what Google will do is it will outline the city in red, and it'll show you anything in here is considered Portland. Now, you want to make sure you do this because you want to know what Google considers to be your city. You might not always have the same exact city boundaries as what Google thinks your city is. So that's why I said type it in. Now, the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to click directions, and you're going to type in Portland to Portland, or whatever your city is. And what it's going to do is it's going to drop a pin on the map right here. You can see right there. And that is what it considers to be the middle of the city. So what your job is to do is to acquire an address as close to that pin as possible, and that will give you the best chances of showing up for your main search phrase. Now, another thing you don't want to do wrong is you don't want to show an address if you're using a home address. You want to make sure that you display it as a service area business. If you display an address, typically the guidelines say you need to have commercial space. So make sure you have commercial space if you're displaying an address. And the other thing with that is commercial space always ranks much better than a home address. So keep that in mind when you're setting up the Google My Business with the address you choose to use. Number 3 on this list is going to be your primary service category and secondary categories. Now, if you don't already know, Google lets you have 1 primary service category and 9 additional service categories. Now, what you want to do is you want to figure out in your general area, what are people using as their primary service category to rank between position 1 and 3? And you want to look at those and sign up for the same exact primary category as well as all the secondary categories. One way to find out what they're signed up as is if you have an extension on your Google Chrome browser, it's called GMB Everywhere, it'll actually show you what they're registered with. So if I come over to the Google Chrome browser with this extension, you're going to see here that it says junk removal service is their primary service category, and they don't have any additional categories. But if I go down to this next one, it's going to show me that their primary service category is junk removal service, and then it's going to have debris removal service, garbage collection services, and waste management services. We recently got the category junk removal service maybe like a year and a half ago. So before that, we had to use waste management services or garbage collection services. But as you can see here in my general area, most of the people ranking towards the top are a junk removal service as a primary service category, and then they have a bunch of other ones. Another thing you can do with GMB Everywhere is it can give you more ideas as to what other categories to use. It'll give you an entire breakdown of related service categories and what other people around the nation are also using. It'll also break down the next thing, which the next thing that I want to talk to you about is services. It'll break down what services, what related services people are using. If you don't know, you can actually add services to your Google My Business profile, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So once you're logged into your Google My Business profile, you can edit services, and it'll give you some different ideas as to what services to add. Once you've written down some, you can add your own custom ones. It will let you edit them further, and this is where a lot of people stop. And this is actually really important. Once you have your services added, it'll give you a section where you can actually add a description of what your services are, as well as a price. Okay, so make sure that you're utilizing all the text that it lets you add. I believe it lets you add up to 300 characters, so you want to make sure you're utilizing that as much as possible for you to actually explain what your service is and to add more keywords. The thing here is adding keywords. Always adding, if you're talking about junk removal, add the words junk removal service in the keywords. Or furniture removal, appliance removal. Remember that this category that we're in with junk removal encompasses a lot of things, right? We have property cleanouts, order cleanouts, eviction cleanouts, hot tub removal, tons of different things. So make sure you take the time to add every single service you can possibly think of, as well as a long description. With AI, you should be able to write up these descriptions super fast. It should not take you very much time. The fifth most important thing here is going to be pictures, okay? Make sure that you're adding pictures to your Google My Business profile. I've made an entire video talking about how to geotag images, and that might be a little bit difficult for you to do, to geotag your images yourself. So the number one thing you can do for your business that is going to make a world of a difference, that you can control yourself, and you don't need anybody's help for this, is to take a picture at the job site and upload it at the job site. Now, you may not think much of this, but it's actually storing data from where your phone captures the picture, and it's embedding it into the image, the geo coordinates of where you took this image, and it's letting Google know that you performed a service at that specific part of town. And so there's nothing really better than actually adding images on site while you're performing the job, because it stores all that information and Google loves that. So make sure you're constantly taking pictures of all your job sites and uploading them to Google there on the spot. Number 6 is going to be reviews. Now, I'm sure you've already heard this. Making sure that you have a lot of reviews on your Google My Business profile is important. Now, what you haven't heard is the frequency of reviews is also playing a huge factor in how your Google My Business profile ranks online. Okay, so a lot of businesses, what they'll do is they'll try and reach a number. They'll have a number in their head. I need to get to 50 reviews. I need to get to 100 reviews because that's where everything is going to change. And what they do is they hit that number and then they stop. And that's where the problem is stopping your review process just because you hit a goal. You want to make sure that the frequency of reviews continues. So it doesn't matter how quickly you get to 100, it more matters how many you're constantly getting. You want to be getting a good amount of reviews every single week, no matter what. Even if you reached 1,000 reviews, you want to have a frequency of getting more reviews every single week, because it shows an active business that people are actually engaging with and liking your service enough to leave you a review. So make sure you don't stop getting reviews just because you hit your goal. The seventh most important thing, and this one's gonna go a long way, we've been talking about keywords and giving Google more signals as to what you do and where you do it. And one of the things we talked about was adding services to your profile and writing a detailed description. Now, what you wanna do is also have these exact services also mentioned on pages of your website, individual pages. So for example, if you added hot tub removal services as one of your services on Google My Business, you should also have a hot tub removal page for a specific city in your area on your website with all the proper SEO, meaning you have the proper title, meta description, H1 tags, and so on. If you want to know more about junk removal SEO, I made an entire video explaining the breakdown of what SEO is and how to properly structure websites and pages so that you get the most out of it. I'll leave the link for it somewhere here on the screen. Go check that out if you have a second. But like I said, guys, these are the 7 most important things you can do to get a business to grow online. Showing up on Google is going to be the most important thing you do for your business. So follow these 7 steps. If you still need more help or any guidance on any of this marketing stuff, you can reach me at 503-914-7250 or visit junkremovalmoney.com. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or give me a call or text me anytime. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.